Pleasure.
Destination. Forever.
I guess just kind of getting anything you've ever wanted. It's a place without worry, without fear, without anxiety. Comfort maybe comes to mind.
I imagine everyone being with Noor and everything being with light and Noor.
Eternal happiness, no stress, no tiredness, no achy body, just pure happiness.
It seems like a place where people receive blessings, but the difference is, when we get these things in the dunya, we still have worries.
When I think of Jannah, every single delight, every single thing we could ever want and yearn for is held in there.
Being able to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, being able to meet the Sahaba, being able to meet the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Reuniting with my husband, seeing him in his perfection. To me, he was perfect in this life, so I can't imagine how perfect he would be in Jannah.
I'll meet you with my dad again. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I lost you when I was 13. And I think every day since then, I think about reuniting with him.
How often do you think about Jannah?
A lot, I would say. Alhamdulillah. Usually when I'm reading the Quran, it comes to mind a lot.
Probably after every salah.
Can you describe that to me?
What I try to do is I try to do some dhikr, and I try to think to myself, like, the dhikr that I do may be raising my ranks in Jannah if Allah accepts.
So we made it praising Allah. Have you ever kind of rehearsed that conversation with Allah in Jannah? You get to Jannah, you're meeting Allah for the first time. Why don't you just think about it? Just walk through the gates. You got suited in your Jannah clothes. You saw the palace, you saw the rivers, you saw the family, and now Allah wants to have a conversation with you. And this isn't questioning, because the questioning is over. Think about that conversation with Allah. What do you want to say to Allah the first time you meet Him in Jannah?
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be here, because I know my deeds wouldn't have been the one that would get me there.
Praise be to you. Thank you. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, this is for me, the only way to get through life is to have that connection. So the fact that he was with me during this time, this test, it means everything. And that he wrote everything. He wrote the perfect plan. So really expressing gratitude.
I think it would just be like, making sujood and praising Allah.
It would just be enough, as a pleasure to just look at him. It would just be just to gaze at him would be enough. It would be so much. That would be enough. And thankfulness. Yeah. I don't even know what to say. Yeah. Looking at him would be enough.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You guys just want to stare at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
I would just like to thank him in the most profound way that I can come up with at that time for the blessing of Islam. It's truly a beautiful deen that has given us so much courage to be human, to go out of our way to try to be better for the sake of pleasing Allah.
I think even in that moment, I feel like I needed to apologize. I know I didn't do it. I know I didn't do enough. I know I didn't do all that I was supposed to do. It's yes, thank you, but also just I'm so sorry, Allah.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Lagos. Good morning to you, marhaba. Welcome to The Light here on Nigeria Info 99.3. I'm Sheriff Quadry, and we're live again, day 29, Ramadan, and it's good to be here. It's always a pleasure, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, for being here every night of Ramadan. It's a grace that we can't quantify, really. So you're welcome to the show. We are live right now on our Facebook page, on our YouTube page. You can, on our YouTube channel, you can watch live, by the way. Nigeria Info 99.3 is how you can locate us on YouTube and on Facebook. Nigeria Info 99.3, all right? And yes, the show is divided into three parts. The first part is lecture part, The second part is a question and answer part where you get to send in your question. By the way, you can start sending in your questions right now. The WhatsApp number is 0809 597 5805. That is 0809 597 5805 on WhatsApp. Keep sending in your questions. About the deen is essentially. And the third part is a giveaway part. So you're welcome to the show. Ustadh Hashim Balaji Ibrahim joins us right now via video link. Ustadh, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Right, let's begin, Ustadh. Let's also let our people know that this show is sponsored by Lotus Bank, Maggie, and Cowbell. We have support from Otumba Fimabwe Foundation of Ikenerema Land, and of course, the Servant of Allah. Ustadh, Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ولي الصالحين وأشهد أن سيدنا وحبيبنا ومولانا وقدوتنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن سلك مسلكه ونهج منهجه واتبع سنته إلى يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم. الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله رب العالمين. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has been with us since the beginning of Ramadan up until this moment that we are counting onto the last days of Ramadan. Either today should be the last day of Ramadan or tomorrow would be the last day of Ramadan, any of the two. But we thank Allah that has kept us alive. We are being part of those that have been doing our ibadat successfully over the past months. We've been part of those that have been able to do our dhikr, do recitation of the Quran, do tilawah, do our tahajjud. Over these past months, it's by Allah's mercies, by Allah's grace. It is not by our own doing. So we keep thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that has given us that particular respite, despite the fact that we are sinners, despite the fact that we are ungrateful to Him most of the time. And He keeps giving us His mercy, He keeps granting us His grace. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that. We also pray that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all our prayers that we have been able to do in Ramadan and make it easy for us to exit Ramadan better than once we came into Ramadan. Amin. So today we are going to be talking about etiquettes of Eid. I do not know if we are going to be having this program tomorrow again, but if it's going to happen tomorrow, I want it to be a day of prayer requests. So anybody that has prayer requests can call in and then seek for the prayer requests, and we'll do that as a form of saying bye-bye to next year, inshallah. So, but today we are going to be talking about the etiquettes of Eid itself. So the Eid that we are looking at either tomorrow or next tomorrow, it's a festival, but it's a festival that has worships connoted into it. It's a festival, but it is connoted with worship. So which means that whatever you want to do that day too has its own rules and regulations according to the Sunnah and according to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's direct injunctions as stated in the Holy Quran. After the end of Ramadan, what we do is that we go all together as Muslims to the Eid ground to go and pray. And so after the prayers, we enjoy, we marry, we share gifts within ourselves, and we make it as a form of a way to bring ourselves together to understand what is the goodness, what is the rightness, what is the right things that we have been able to imbibe through the month of Ramadan. We share our testimonies, when we share the answered prayers, we share whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been able to do for each and every one of us, and then afterwards we make sure that that thing that we have done, we spread it over the next course of our lives after the month of Ramadan. So on Eid day, what should you do as a Muslim? Immediately stand up, go and take your bath. And so once you are taking your bath, remember to take the Sunnah bath. Like the Sunnah bath for Eid. And what is that Sunnah bath? It's the same way you take your Janaba bath, but with the intention that you are taking it for Eid prayers. So whilst you are taking that bath, make sure that you bathe completely and then you take the sunnah bath. Afterwards, wear your best clothes, the best of your clothes. After your Subhi prayer, you wear your best clothes. Come together as a family or as a people within the same community after your Subhi prayer, and then you thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, together, thanking Him for bringing you together from the beginning of Ramadan till now. Even in your house, you and your wives and children can come together in the morning, and then you do Alhamdulillah as much as possible, and then you pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, continue to get you right and all that. Afterwards, then you adorn your best attires. This is what you wear on Eid day. It's not a must that you sew a new clothes if you are no Salah clothes gang like us. But if you are the type that you have sewn a clothes or something, put it on. Even before you leave home, let the entire scenery show that it's a day of celebration. It's a day of merriment. So put on your best clothes and then use your perfumes for Muslim male and for the male Muslims. And so afterwards, you start with your takbirat. Now, this is where some people used to make mistakes. The takbirat, you keep saying it from your home, from your home till you get to the Eid ground. Even when you get to the Eid ground, you don't keep quiet until the Imam mounts to the minbar to pray. So you don't just get to the what do you call it now, to the place that you want to do musalla for Eid, and then you keep quiet. You keep saying your takbirat. There is no nafila for when you get to the Eid ground. So you don't get to the Eid ground and then start observing nafila. No, because what you are going to observe that particular morning is nawafil itself. So you do not need to now start observing another form of nawafil whilst you get to the Eid ground. So what you just keep doing from your home till you get to the Eid ground is your takbirat. And what do you say? Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. That's what you keep saying. You keep saying it till from your home, whilst you are inside the house, even before, whilst you are dressing up, whilst all of you are still trying to, adorn yourselves, whatever adornments you are using. Keep saying the takbirat. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. When you get into the car or when you are walking to the Eid ground, you keep saying it. When you get to the Eid ground, you keep saying it until when the Imam now stands up. The Imam will now be the one to complete it for us when it is time for him to start prayers. Then you now get to Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. Allahu Akbar kabira, walhamdulillahi kathira, wa subhanallahi bukratan wa asila. La ilaha illallah wahda, ajaza wa'ada, wa nasara abda, wa azza ju'da, wa azza man azzaba wahda. لا إله إلا الله ولا نعبد إلا إياه مخلصين له الدين لو كره الكافرون. So that is what we keep saying. So at every interval, when we say the takbirat for some time, they'll add that for us, and so we keep saying it. When the Imam stands up to start the prayer, then we stop it, and then we follow the prayer through. After the prayer, it is the sunnah of Eid for you to listen to the khutbah. The same way it is sunnah for Jumu'ah for you to listen to the khutbah of Jumu'ah. It is also sunnah of Eid for you to listen to the khutbah. So please don't just after praying and then you are rushing to stand up and leaving the prayer ground. No. Today is not the Eid of Adha that maybe you are saying that you want to rush home and go and kill Ram or something. So no, what you are supposed to do today, it's a day of sober reflection. It's a day of merriment. It's also a day of enjoying yourself. within your Muslim brothers. When you see yourself, share the salam, share Allah's mercy or graces that Allah has done for you people together. Alhamdulillah that we are seeing this one and all that. Invite people over to your house to come and eat. If you are invited to, do not decline invitations, to come and enjoy your merry with each other. So these are the things you're supposed to do. And when you get to the Eid ground, once again, there is no nawafil on the Eid ground. All you need to do is just to get there and continue with your takbirat. Afterwards, when you are done with the salat, wait for the khutbah, listen to the khutbah, and then receive the prayers before you leave the Eid ground. Now, before you leave home, this is not the Eid that you do not eat before going to pray the Eid ground. So this particular Eid is the one that you have to eat, even if it's as small as 2 days before you go to the Eid ground. That is to show that you are no longer in Ramadan. We are no longer fasting. So we eat before we go. When we come back, as much as possible, you eat. Share gifts within each other. Buy gifts for your spouses, buy for your children, buy for your friends. If they give to you to collect it and just saying, Eid Mubarak, Eid Mubarak. Meaning that may Allah accept every act that we have done during this festival from you and from me too. So you say, Eid Mubarak, taqabbalallahu minna wa minkum. Eid Mubarak, taqabbalallahu minna wa minkum. So we start sharing that as a form of salam, as a form of greetings, amongst each other. So those are the sunnah for Eid prayers. As much as possible, let us avoid to going back to all those sins that we have left for these 30 days or 29 days. Let us be stay as much as possible away from them on the day of Eid. We don't celebrate our own Eid with alcohol drinking. We don't celebrate our own Eid with excessive consumption of food. So you don't consume food excessively, so it doesn't become haram for you. You don't consume alcohol. You don't go to dingy parties. Go to clubs and all that. All because you want to celebrate Eid. As much as possible, keep your celebration in line with the Sunnah of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So keep your celebrations within your family. Celebrate within your family, you and your wife and your children and all that. Make sure that it's a day that you people see essentially as one of those days that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted you His. Now, make sure that you give out your zakat to the fitri before going for Eid prayers. And as I have said, do not give it out as money as much as possible. If you are in an environment where you can share the grains, please share those grains. It's essential for people to see something to eat on the day of Eid. So give it out to them. And if you can add money too, to buy maybe 1 kilo of chicken or something, add it to it and then you give it out to people. If you have not yet paid your zakat, it is time for you to, you still have the conditionality of 1 more day, to calculate it together and remove it, and also do your zakat al-fitri. So on Eid day, share as much goodness as possible. As a culture, I know some people would have what do you call it? This mint notes to 200, 100 naira and give to children on their way to Eid and all that. It's a good culture if you can do it around everyone. I pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all our ibadat that we have done during this particular month. Make it easy for us to adopt them generally over our lives. I may Allah keep us safe till the day of Eid and beyond, and grant us all His mercies, all His greatness, all His abundance that we keep begging for throughout this month. May Allah grant us the ease and awareness to do Eid successfully. All the financial burdens that we have, that we are trying to overcome, may Allah make it easy for us to overcome them all during this particular Eid time. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم أجمعين. سبحان الله بحمده سبحان الله العظيم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمده أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Ustaz, thank you so much for that. As Ustaz rightly mentioned, we do not know whether today will be the last day of Ramadan or tomorrow. So the plan is to have, if we're going to come back tomorrow, we'll have prayer requests for tomorrow. That's why the topic for today is how you can get ready and the etiquette of Ramadan, of Eid. So please, if you got questions on the religion, feel free to start sending. I can see your questions already, but please feel free to start sending them in. Ustaz, my own first question is about the timing for Eid, for Ramadan. What is the timing?
Yeah, so the timing starts immediately after Fajr prayer. Immediately after you are done with your Fajr prayer, depending on wherever you are. I know that in Haram, that's in Makkah, they wait about an hour or 2 hours after the Fajr prayer, and instantly they take the Eid prayer follows afterwards. But they start with the takbirot immediately after the Fajr prayer. You start hearing them doing the takbirot till it's time for the Imam to come and start the prayer. So instantly from that, you can keep doing your Fajr prayer. Allah.
Let me go to the WhatsApp platform now. The WhatsApp number, if you like to send in your questions, the WhatsApp number is 0809 597 5805. That is 0809 597 5805 on WhatsApp. If you like to call in, the number to call is 0201 465 7190. That is 0201 465 7190. Let's take one or two messages here, then we'll come to the telephone afterwards. This person, Olushoga Ajayi, says, if the bride asks her husband to recite a particular surah for her on her nikah day instead of money, is that allowed in Islam?
Yes, 100%. It's a valid mahar. If the wife says, please, I want to memorize a particular surah, and that is what you should read for me as my mahar, it is valid. And if he is able to do that, then there is no problem. Allah.
Let's take another question here that says, what is the Islamic perspective on losing a family or extended family member that is a Christian, and how do we pray for the person in our prayers?
Yeah, so we've mentioned this. The only thing you cannot do for that person is to seek for Allah's forgiveness. For example, saying that Allah should forgive that person and grant the person Jannah or something. So, but apart from that, every other thing that it's your responsibility as a family member that you are supposed to do for the dead person, you are supposed to do it for that person. So, if there's a reason for you to attend the burial, there's a reason for you to, how let's say it, add some money to contribute to whatever they are doing for the dead person as a family member, please do it. What you should not do is that you cannot seek for Allah's forgiveness for that person.
Let's go take some questions via the telephone now. 0201 465 7190. Please turn off your radio if you're calling to ask your questions. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. Yes, please.
Daniel.
Welcome, Daniel.
Please, I have two questions.
Okay.
Number one is, what is the ruling on, like, a Christian man trying to marry a Muslim lady?
Okay.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Then on the lighter note, the second question is, like, the Ustadh just said that you keep saying your prayers till you get to the
Eid ground, yes.
Let me say, yeah, when you are going now, people start greeting you. Will you stop saying your prayers?
When people greet you on your way, Abby?
Yeah, on your way, right.
Okay. All right. All right, Daniel. Thank you. So, did you get that?
Yes, I did. You don't stop chanting the takbirot because people are greeting you. Answer their greetings and call them to instantly. You people should start. That's the sunnah, actually. So when you are leaving your house, for example, say you stay a bit far from Eid, so and you know that there are Muslims on the road staying in some other houses too. When you are outside, it's the sunnah for you to go and even call them. Yeah, let's go to Eid. So whilst all of you are together, you'll be chanting the azkar together. Allahu Akbar, you are doing it. So let them know that these people are celebrating something today. Let everybody know your environment. So when people greet you, Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam to Allah barakatuh, Allahu Akbar, all of you are now saying it together to get to the ground. Allahu
Alam. Ustadh, please speak briefly on how to get to the end ground. I've heard sermons as regards how to get there. It's better to walk there. It's better to walk fast. It's better to walk slowly. It's better to take your time when you're going there. It's better if it's not this. If you can drive, you can drive there, and all of that. Could you expand on that, Ustadh?
Yeah, it depends on where you are going to pray your own Eid prayer. It's dependent on that. A lot of people, maybe the Eid prayer is close to their house. So there's somewhere or an hour before they get to the Eid ground. The sunnah is just that whatever means of transportation you are using to get to the Eid ground, make sure that you keep your mouth moist with askar. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you should get to the Eid ground as early as possible. The same sunnah that grants us for Jumu'ah, that says that we should make sure we get to the Jumu'ah, the masjid, before the imam, comes in and then starts prayer. So we should do that for Eid too. We try as much as possible to get to the Eid ground, very early, so that the askar that we are chanting in congregation, we would also get the reward for doing that successfully. So this is why I said immediately you wake up, your Eid have started, from taking your bath, from dressing up and all that, eating and all that. Your Eid has already started. So it is a day of as much as it's a day of merriment, it's also a day of ibadah. So getting to the Eid ground early is part of the ibadah. So whatever piece of transportation, you already know that where I'm going to is far, where I'm going to is close. So you know how you calculate that and then leave home early. So some people used to say that if there are Eids in your environment, why are you going to a particular place to pray Eid? It's not in anybody, it's your discretion. Nobody, there is nobody that says you must pray Eid in a particular place.
Right.
If you stay in Lekki and you feel that where you are more comfortable to pray your Eid is at Ikeja. Nobody says you should not go to Ikeja to go and pray your Eid. Just make sure you go early and you are there before the Imam.
Allah. And just so we're very clear, let me announce again that Ustadh is not saying that Ramadan ends today. That's why, that's not the reason why we're treating Eid as topic now. The reason is that it may and it may not end today. That is why, okay? So you have to still listen to the authorities' announcement whether the Ramadan would continue tomorrow or it will end today. That's essentially the information. There is no information yet that it will end today. So that is not why we're having this conversation. We're just having it in preparation that it may or it may not. Okay, now let's take a break. We're going to hear from one of our sponsors, Maggie, and we'll be right back. Stay here, please.
It's a new season of Ramadan, a season of kindness, sharing, and lots of cooking. It's also a new season of Maggie Diaries that will keep you inspired with amazing recipes for every taste and budget.
Showing every day on Z World at 4 p.m. and Africa Magic Yoruba at 5:30 p.m.
Also, watch on Maggie YouTube channel every day. Everyone is welcome. Ramadan Kareem. Maggie, cook the difference.
Welcome back to The Lights, brought to you by Maggie, Lotus Bank, and Cowbell. Let's head back to the telephone to take more calls.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Yeah, this is Sharif from Ikoyi.
Welcome, Sharif.
Yeah, my question is, what is the ruling on maybe bathing in the afternoon of Ramadan?
Having a bath during the day of Ramadan.
In the afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Sharif.
Yeah. And I
Thank
get
you.
our
Ustadh. Okay.
Yes, Ustadh. I get
He's also our Imam, yes.
Yeah.
All right, Ustadh. The ruling on having a bath during the afternoon of Ramadan.
Yeah, you can have your bath in the afternoon of Ramadan. Nobody says you cannot have your bath in the afternoon of Ramadan. What you should not do, though, is that you should try as much as possible to stay away from letting water get into your mouth or getting through your esophagus whilst you're having that bath. If that does not happen, then you have no issues. You can bath as many times as possible in the afternoon of Ramadan.
Allah, let's take this one here. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Yes, please.
Ibrahim from Ijebugo.
Welcome, sir.
I want to ask Imam, is it permissible to use perfume during daytime, during Ramadan?
During Ramadan?
Yes, daytime.
As a man, right?
Yes, as a man.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Ustadh?
Yes, you can use perfume in the afternoon of Ramadan whenever you want to go out and all that. Don't worry about it. Allah.
Okay, now let's slide over and go and take some messages that are here waiting for us. I'm sure they are saying, come now, read our message now. What is this? Okay, so Sulaima Alaro says, what is the ruling regarding eating crocodile and dog meat? And what if a husband says to his wife that he didn't marry her again more than 3 times? What, you mean punishment? Okay, Sharia. Okay, what does Sharia say about this? So we have 2 questions here, Ustadh.
Yeah, so the second one about the fact that if the man says you are no longer, I don't want to marry you again, I don't want to marry you again.
That's right.
Says it in different situations 3 times. That automatically has instigated the fact that that man is no longer the husband of that woman according to the Sharia. So even before she has to, even if he wants her to get married back to him, she has to go and marry somebody else and then divorce that person before she can come back to marry him back. That is the Sharia part, because you don't joke with I'm not marrying you again. It's not something you joke with in the Sharia. If you say it and it's counted up to 3 times, then it is in the context of the Sharia jurisprudence that talaq has to be activated. You have activated it yourself. If you say it 3 times, I'm not marrying you again, I'm not marrying you again, I'm not marrying you again, it's not something you joke with. It's not even something you use as a threat, to your wife. Maybe people are having a domestic squabble, and the next thing you say is that I'm not even marrying you again. So it was counted as 1 for you like that. If you now say it another time, it becomes 2. Say it another time, it becomes 3. Then automatically you are activated talaq. And even if you now want to marry her back, as I said, she has to first go and marry somebody else, and then you will now divorce that person.
Ustadh, so sorry to butt in, Ustadh. So the wife is counting, or the husband is counting, or there has to be a witness.
There has to be a witness. It has to be stated. It's not just about something she's saying jokingly. So if he's saying it jokingly and the wife does not check it jokingly, then she does the counting. I'm not taking this jokingly. So you cannot just tell me I'm no longer getting married to you, and then you think you are joking with it.
So she can just spark out after the 3rd time. She can just spark out of the house after the 3rd time.
No, she reports to the Sharia, to the Imam or the Sharia judge in their community that this is what this man has done, and I have a witness. I have witnesses that have witnessed the various times they have said he's no longer getting married to me. And so if that is activated and they are able to perceive the truth in what she's saying, then automatically she starts to read that she's no longer his wife.
Okay, let's quickly talk about. So I think Daniel asked 2 questions, right? Daniel also asked about if can a non-Muslim marry a Muslim woman.
Yeah, so it's not acceptable in Islam for a non-Muslim male to marry a Muslim woman. That marriage is null and void in the Sharia. It's a null and void marriage in the Sharia. In fact, scholars are of the opinion that what that marriage will constitute would be zina until the day of judgment. So it's now how will I say, it's beckoning for the woman, who is a Muslim, to know that because one of the conditions for divorce in Islam is if maybe your husband was a Muslim, and after you people got married, you're now reverted, to another religion apart from Islam. It's a valid reason for divorce. That immediately it does that, the marriage becomes null and void in the Sharia. So a Muslim woman cannot marry a non-Muslim man. Allah Alam.
So we'll now go back to the first question of Sulaiman Alaro, who asked about eating crocodile and dog meat.
Yeah, so I think we mentioned this over that. Okay, no, it's someone asked me this same question in a public lecture that I attended this Ramadan. Muslims do not eat any form of animals that has the capability to hunt and kill another animal. Any animal that can hunt and kill another animal, Muslims do not eat it. Most especially when Allah was mentioning that that verse in the Quran, he mentioned al-mukallibin, the ones that have canines. And dogs are part of those that have canines, same as crocodiles too, which can hunt and kill other animals. So we should stay away from them. But there is another context that anything that comes from the water, that comes out from the water, is halal for us to eat. But crocodiles in context are amphibians. They live in water and they live on land, and they have capability to hunt and kill. So we should stay away from them as much as possible. Allah.
Kelani is here. Kelani says, if a Muslim did miss a day of prayer, how does he pay back? Like a whole day of Salat?
If there's a valid reason, so for you to miss a whole day of Salat, I don't know what valid reason that should be, but whatever reason it is that makes you miss a whole day of Salat, so you keep asking for Allah's forgiveness for that. Now, how do you return those prayers? Say, for example, you missed prayer throughout yesterday, and you are now in this morning. You should be able to, pray the whole prayers that you've missed before the Subuhi of today. That is to show that you have returned all the missed prayers for yesterday. Some scholars are of the opinion that you pray each one at the time of it. Say, for example, you missed yesterday's Subuhi. When it's today's Subuhi, you pray yesterday's Subuhi and today's Subuhi together. So, but I do not agree to that opinion. The one I agree with is the fact that you pray everything that you have missed over yesterday before starting the prayers for today. Allah Alam.
So, Ustadh, we have Abubakar from Yola in Adamawa. Abubakar says, please, I would like Ustadh to explain on the recitation of Fatiha behind Imam during Salat.
Yes, when you are behind an Imam and the Imam starts prayers, you are supposed to recite your own Surah Al-Fatiha too. Albeit you are reciting yours silently. Whilst maybe the Imam is reciting loudly or silently. Because the Prophet ﷺ says that last salata liman lam yaqra al-Fatiha. So if you do not recite your Fatiha, then you do not have salat, as the Prophet ﷺ said. So we should recite our own Fatiha, so even when we are behind the Imam. Allah Alam.
I have another one here. This is from Olamide. Olamide says, I'm a Muslim. I had an experience when I was in a Muslim school where I said Jesus after something had happened, but I was castigated by my fellow Muslims for saying that. Ustaz, I guess what he's saying is when something happens, it's Jesus, that kind of exclamation.
Yeah.
So he was castigated for saying that. And he says, is it wrong in saying Jesus is a Muslim? Secondly, I have been in a gathering where Muslims have said offensive things about Christians. What is the ruling on that?
Okay, so let me start from the other part. As Muslims, you don't instigate oppression against any other religion, race, ethnicity, or tribe. It is something that is abhorred for you as a Muslim to do. Prophet ﷺ lived in Medina with Christians, with Jews, with idolaters, and he never for once oppressed them. In fact, when the Prophet ﷺ died, one of his vests that he usually wore, that he wears, was found in the house of a Jew. That is to show you how close the Prophet ﷺ was with this person. His own clothes being found in the house of a Jew. And the Jew said, no, you people cannot take this clothes from me. It was given to me by the Prophet ﷺ in exchange, for some clothes. So you people cannot come here and take it from me. So we are supposed to live in peace and harmony with people of other ethnicity, tribes, race, or religion. It is not in your place to decide who goes to hellfire or who goes to paradise. You know, it is not in your own place. Leave that for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. Yours is that these people are human beings like you. They are country people. You are your same countrymen. They are your same tribe, your same ethnicity, and you people stay in the same environment. So do good to them as much as possible. Maybe from your own goodness self, they might try to come and, understand your religion and accept whatever it is that you're trying to push onto them. So you don't say bad things about Christians, about non-believers and anything. It's not in your place, to castigate them for any other thing you have said. Now, for a Muslim mouthing of Jesus or something after a particular thing happens, so it's essential for us to know that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that when you do something consistently, it's because you have that in your subconscious. So we should do our azkar regularly. When we do azkar regularly, when anything happens, the first thing that will be coming out of our mouth would be the azkar and not something else entirely. So that should suffice for answering that question.
Wallahu alam. So we're going to take this question here before we head out for our next break. This person says, is it a must for the ladies to cover in black clothing or just any cover clothing will suffice? And that's Prince Adeyinka from Saudi Arabia.
This what?
Is it a must for ladies to cover them, the jalbab? Must it be black in color or it can be of any color?
Okay, so it must not be black. It's not a must for it. Islam is not a religion of how would I say it, uniform. Like you say, this is the color we must wear. Okay, so we can wear any color. It just asks that the hijab has its own conditions. The condition is that whatever you are using to sew it must not be transparent. That is one. Whatever color you are using must not be an attractive color, that a shouty color. And then it must be broad. It must cover every part of your body. Be broad enough that nobody can see the linings of your body whilst you are on it. If it meets all these conditions, then whatever color you're using is okay. Okay.
Yeah, so let's take our second break now. After this break, we'll head into the last final quarter hour of the show. Please stay here with us. We'll be back.
It's a new season of Ramadan, a season of kindness, sharing, and lots of cooking. It's also a new season of Maggie Diaries that will keep you inspired with amazing recipes for every taste and budget.
Showing every day on Z World at 4 p.m. and Africa Magic Yoruba at 5:30 p.m.
Also, watch on Maggie YouTube channel every day. Everyone is welcome. Ramadan Kareem. Maggie, cook the difference.
Aisha, why do you have so many tins and sachets of cowbell?
Oh, it's what I plan to share this Ramadan.
My sister, you can start by sharing some with me now.
Oh yeah, take. It's Ramadan after all. In this holy month, share the nourishing goodness of cowbell with friends and family. It contains vitamin B9, Vitarich, and it's so creamy, so good. Ramadan Kareem.
Cowbell of creamy goodness.
And now, The Light.
Welcome back to The Light here on Nigeria Info 99.3. We are live streaming on Facebook and on YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3 is how you can join us. So we're going to head to YouTube now to go take this question here. Ustadh, somebody said they sent you a DM that you should please respond to it. Ustadh is very busy this period. I'm sure he will find time to respond to all the DMs that you've sent. But let's Oyebola Aloma says during prayer, Imam was reciting verse in the Quran and he mentioned the Prophet's name. Are we allowed to say Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam either silently or loudly?
So it's not a problem. It is not compulsory on us to say the Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It's not compulsory on us. Even if you want to say it, you should say it silently. Allahu Alam.
All right, let's go take another. We're back to WhatsApp, or should we? Let's take some calls. Let's take some calls, and let's take one or two questions from the telephone, and then we'll come to WhatsApp in a moment. That call has dropped. Let's try another one here. Let's see who is. Assalamu alaikum. I can't hear. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I thought I heard a sound. I can't hear you at all. All right. Do try and call back if you can. Because of time, let me quickly jump on this one here. This person says, please, can you clarify regarding Zakat al-Fitr? Is it on every member of the family, irrespective of age? That's Safina.
Yeah, what? I didn't get that.
She wants a clarification on Zakat al-Fitr, whether one must observe it on every member of one's family, irrespective of age.
Okay, so it's supposed to be observed on fasting Muslims in that particular house. So, but if you have the capability to do it for everybody, in the house, please do it as much as possible. People need the food. Allah Alam.
And that takes me to a follow-up to that question on whether one can observe this on behalf of, let's say, a non-believer in the family. Is that also allowed? Is that also allowed for maybe dead parents as well?
If the person stays under your care, say the person stays in your house under your care, then you can do it for that person.
How about for late parents? Is that also allowed?
No, it's not applicable for anybody that is late.
Okay. So let me quickly rush and take these other questions here. We have quite plenty questions. So this person says, can someone perform Eid prayer in the masjid? That's from Yusuf.
Okay, the sunnah for Eid prayer is to go outside. Go outside to the Eid ground to do it. So, but if prevailing conditions, are not making people go outside to pray. For example, I remember that during the COVID era, we prayed our Eid in the masjid. So if conditions, or maybe there is an heavy rain that will not make you be able to get to the Eid ground, and you are told to come to the masjid to pray, then there is nothing wrong with praying in the masjid. But it's better to go and pray in an open space.
Okay. So I have another one here that says, can a person who is not financially buoyant or that is struggling to feed his family borrow money to pay Zakat al-Fitr? Abdullah sent that in.
Please don't borrow money to pay Zakat al-Fitr. It means that you are even part of those that needs to be given Zakat al-Fitr, not part of those that should be giving out Zakat al-Fitr. So you don't borrow money to pay Zakat al-Fitr. Yeah, what you should do is that you can, if what you have at home cannot be more than enough for you and your children, what you do is just remove it as a sunnah and return it back into your kitchen.
We're getting some static noise. I don't know if it's from your end, Ustadh, but anytime your last speech, the static noise was everywhere over the speech. I'm just hoping that the person got what you said. Essentially, Ustadh said that you shouldn't borrow money to pay Zakat al-Fitr. Let's take this question here. It's two-part question. So, is it true that when teaching students Quran and it's time for Salat, the teaching of Quran must finish before observing the Salat, despite the fact that an imam has already started praying? Secondly, is it true that if dog nose touch a Muslim clothes, we can't use such clothing for prayer?
Yeah, if you have come in contact with a dog, the clothes you are wearing is not something you can use to pray again. So what you would do is that you go and wash off that particular place. You wash it off with water and then you dust it off before you can use it to pray again. So that is for dogs. So the first question, I didn't really get it clearly.
The first question, he said that if you are in the masjid and you're teaching children how to recite the Quran, or anywhere actually, but then you now heard that Salah has started, is it true that the kids must finish what they are learning before they join Salat?
No, nothing is above Salat. You go and pray Salat instantly, and then you can come back and do whatever you want. Lord.
That one shocked me too. Let me go and take this one here that says, I'm sure this person does not even know what he's saying. The question is, the person asked this question, it's supposed to ignore, how many days to Salat? I don't understand the question, so please, you can resend it. If you can make it back before we end the show, that will be nice. What is Islamic ruling on what a man have when a man have sexual intercourse with his wife during these last 10 days of Ramadan? My question is, have I committed sin or not? Well, the person didn't say whether they have, sexual intercourse on the afternoons of Ramadan or during the nights of Ramadan.
If it is during the nights of Ramadan, you have not committed any sin at all. So far, the person you're having intercourse with is your lawfully wedded wife. But if it is in the afternoon of Ramadan, that one is strong. You have committed a great sin, and you are liable to return each day that you have done that with 60 days of fasting. So I presume, that you are speaking about the nights of the last 10 days of Ramadan. You have not committed any sin, and there's nothing wrong with that.
So let's wrap up this conversation with some calls. So we're going to take one or two calls as we go. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
You have Badmus on the line.
Mr. Badmus, welcome back.
Yeah. Ustadh, please, can a Muslim give his daughter to an idol worshipper to marry and conduct a nikah? Two.
Can you explain, Ustadh, did you get the first question?
Okay, the first question is this.
Okay, all right. Go ahead. Go on with the second question. Ustadh's got it.
Second question.
Mm-hmm.
The second question is that can somebody who's an unbeliever, idol worshippers, inherit from a Muslim property after the Muslim, maybe his dad was a Muslim, but he's not practicing Muslim, but he's an idol worshipper? Can he benefit from the property of that who was a Muslim when he was alive?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Badmus. Mr. Hassan?
Yeah, so I'll start from the first one. That can a Muslim give out his daughter to an idol worshipper and then now conduct nikah, on that particular. It's something that I'm usually amused by when I see it. It amuses me, wallahi. And I think I have been in such situations about twice, and I have declined officiating such nikah about 2 times. I know I have declined, that I'm not going to be a party to this. So you cannot conduct nikah on someone who is not a Muslim, because technically, the instant she get married to a non-Muslim, she is no longer a Muslim. So you cannot conduct nikah for that. Nikah is your worship. It's something that we do for worship. It's not just the celebration. It's not introduction. It's not I don't know what else we do. Engagement. That's not one thing. Nikah is worship. That is why it has stated ways you conduct that nikah in the Sharia. So how do I say, for example, whilst I want to conduct nikah now, that the husband is supposed to say some azkar? How do I tell a non-Muslim to say it when he doesn't even understand? How do I tell the wife now to say Shahiduna bi anna Allah, that I'm doing this in presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the presence of my parents? How does she want to say that if she knows that Allah already goes against her marrying such person? So my first advice is that we have a lot of Muslim brothers that are unmarried outside there. Find them, get married to them. There is nothing you want to see from a non-believer that you cannot see from a Muslim, except what you are looking for is worldly outcomes. The second part is that for parents, please don't put your affairs in tight corners because of the respect that they have for you. Some will not even tell this affairs the truth. I've been to one that the guy's name was Solomon. On the Ivy, they printed Sulaiman. We got there and realized that he was not even a Muslim. I actually declined to conduct that nikah, but it was embarrassing because I got there, I was there already. If I had known, I wouldn't have even accepted from the onset to even come and officiate the wedding. But I got there realizing that this guy was not, a Muslim. So I declined instantly. Some people were like, "Oh, Agidi." I'm like, no, it's not Agidi. You have to know what your religion says. And I don't hate you. I don't know you, but this is what You can get somebody else out there that will officiate it for you. And they said because in fact, the man called me. I was, saying things like, Asha, he saw someone else to come and officiate it who is far better than me. And I said, thank you. I don't know when I get to the front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I will clarify that me, I did not officiate that particular wedding. So please don't wink your scholars into officiating in the car between. It's a sin that they wouldn't have known. And you might have just put them in a strong issue in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is that about that. Don't give your children to non-believers, as I've mentioned. Allah.
His second question about non-Muslim inheriting a Muslim.
That's valid. So I remember that one day someone asked a question about inheritance and all that, and said I was asking about Hajibu, and I mentioned Hajibu.
Yes.
Yeah. So because they are technical questions, also you can just explain away online like this. But a Muslim cannot inherit a non-Muslim. A non-Muslim cannot inherit a Muslim. It is valid in the Sharia. As I have said, the only thing you can give to that person is to give he or she a gift from your inheritance, which must not be more than 30% of your whole inheritance. Because one of the mawani on the earth, the reasons that would make somebody not to either be a partaker in inheritance or an inheritor is khilafuddin, difference in religion. So a Muslim does not inherit a non-Muslim. A non-Muslim does not inherit a Muslim. Allah.
So as we have to go, please say what a prayer for us, please.
So as I've said, please share gifts. So share gifts amongst yourself. Call people that have been giving you lectures, that have been giving you leading you Taraweeh, that have those imams that have spent 30 days on your behalf. Share gifts to them too. They are there for you. So help them, achieve the goals of celebrating Eid like you too. Allahumma inna nas'aluka ilman nafi'an wa qalban khashiyan wa lisanan dhakiran batnan sabiran wa rizqan wasi'an. Subhanallah bihamdi subhanallah al-azim. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdi ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wassalamu ala al-mursalin walhamdulillah.
Jazakumullah khairan, ya Ustadh. Thank you so much. Lagos, we must go now, but I have to say a few things. Many thanks to Ustadh Ibrahim for always tuning in, for always joining us for the last 29 days of Ramadan. Many thanks to Dr. Jumoke Kasim as well for being a part of this. Shirainde Idris, many thanks to you. Abatuni Absalam, many thanks to you. Lotus Bank, Maggie, Cowbell, Otumba Fimabwe Foundation, and Seventh of Allah. Thank you all for being a part of it. I'm Sheriff Quadry. Lagos, Assalamu alaikum.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.